Follow them on Instagram, handle TC1Gel.
Why are you listening to this radio station? Why? When you can host your own radio show. You're listening and you think you can do better? You have a message or a product you want everyone to know about. Host your own radio show. Team up with the area's best radio professionals and let them make you sound like you should be on NBC. KCAA NBC Radio, that is. KCAA produces more than 50 local programs each week on subjects ranging from business and sports to political talk, vegan diets, or even marijuana-related issues. We don't just broadcast on the radio, we broadcast to the world. Online, on TV, on social media, on Facebook. You'll be all over. Imagine what your friends will say. And KCAA reaches over 5 million people on 3 radio stations. Join the staff on 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, and 106.5 FM. NBC Radio. Jump on the KCAA Express. Call 909-793-1065. That's 909-793-1065. And get ready to transmit.
Express 106.5 FM. The #1 FM talk radio station in the Inland Empire. KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. Express 106.5 FM.
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Will the birds and the bees survive? Right before me, my newfound hippie side once ignored these conspiracies online. Out the window, visions of the earth. Sign me up now, make sure you use your smart. Take a walk on the wild side. Will the birds and the bees survive? Would your children lie to see Mother Nature's sigh?
Welcome to Smart Health Talk with your host, Elaine McFadden.
Hey everyone, it's Smart Health Talk. Yay. We made it. Woo! Made it another week, everybody. Yep, we're still here. And in case you haven't listened to Smart Health Talk before, I'm your host, Elaine McFadden, and I'm a registered dietitian, but I like to think I'm not one of those kind of stereotype dietitians. I think I wear cool shoes, and I love fashion, and I love really good food. And I love my body, because you got to start off loving your body. Because you know what happens when you love your body? You start making sure that everything that touches your body or goes into your body is nothing but the best. That's right. That's the attitude I want everyone listening to this show to adopt, because when you start thinking, hey, nothing but the best for this body, because you know what? I got the one and only body. I'm dependent on this body for the rest of my life, and how good it works influences a lot. So I'm going to start being a little bit more picky. And I tell you, there is like influences out there. There are so many different things out there that are just, trying to sabotage you. That's what gets me upset. It's pretty much, the deck stacked against you is the way it works. And I'll tell you one of the big things that are stacked against you. If you got a sweet tooth and you're grabbing food that has high fructose corn syrup in it, ooh, that's not good. I'll tell you why. High fructose corn syrup it doesn't go into your body like other foods. Like when you eat it, your body's kind of like, what is that? We do not recognize this as a food. It sends it through a whole different pathway. And bottom line is that it adds pounds. That's right. High fructose corn syrup helps make you obese. Guess what? Our president's obese. Yeah, his last physical. Last time he was like borderline, but no one talks about that last time he was like overweight. He was borderline obese, but he got somehow got under the radar there, and oh no, he's not obese, but we all knew he's probably obese, and now it's official. He's obese. Guess what? So are a lot of other Americans. Yeah, he's not alone. It's even hard for the military to recruit anymore. Obesity is actually kind of a national security risk because, people go in to enlist and they're obese or they're overweight and they don't meet the criteria. So it's really hard to find non-obese people to be part of the armed forces. And I tell you, it can start in the womb. And that's why we are going to have Dr. Seneff on our show next week, Dr. Stephanie Seneff, and we're going to get into fertility, having a baby, and what you should be doing, like leading up to getting pregnant. Because guess what? People can't get pregnant. Yeah, it's a problem. It is so much a problem that the last fertility data came out, and we had a group that was a growing group, the women in their 30s, and that even showed decline. So that shows that people are having trouble having babies. Why? Why? Well, a lot of the guesses out there have nothing to do with pesticides, and that's exactly what everyone should be looking at. We are using more pesticides than ever before. You have been exposed to more pesticides than ever before in history. Have people had this much poison in their body? Guess what? You put enough poison in, finally it starts to show. The thing is, the butterflies, because we have our Blue Monarch Project. Please go to our website, bluemonarchproject.com, and all you locals out there, you wonder what pesticides are being sprayed? Well, we requested, using the Freedom of Information Act, from the county, all the pesticides sprayed an entire year. And we have that data up on our Blue Monarch Project website. It's right there on the front page, the link to it. You can go and look at the spreadsheet. You can I'm pretty sure I have it on there. You can download the spreadsheet because then you can manipulate it. It's an Excel spreadsheet and you can sort it by street name and you can find out what's going on in there. But I can tell you, it's bad. We have hormone disruptors, which is going to be a big part of our conversation next week with Dr. Seneff, because those hormone disruptor pesticides, guess what else? That's another thing that's making you fat. Yeah, those hormone disruptor pesticides. And I just love it. I don't know. We got Nick here in the studio. Hey, Nick. He's our engineer right here.
Hello.
I'm just wondering, well, first of all, I have to ask you, I have a question about commercials and some of the wording that's being used in commercials, but you have a new show on Saturday.
I do.
Tell us about that show, Nick, because we want to This is like, I tell you, this guy right here, he knows jazz. So all you jazz lovers out there, listen up, because Nick right here has a new show on Saturday, and you're going to want to tune in.
Well, first off, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. And second off, yeah, it's on kind of, I guess, our cousin station, I suppose, 92.5 KQLH. Saturdays from 4 to 5. I call it the Blues Bar. It's an entire hour of nothing but blues. And I don't want to say too much. So far, I'm only on KQLH.
Oh, so it's blues, and blues is different than jazz.
Yeah, blues and jazz are related, but
okay,
they're
you obviously, I don't know that much about this. This is why, if you wanted to know more, you could probably tune in and learn a lot, because don't you like tell people about the music too?
I do. I do, little tidbits here and there. I don't want to say too much, but I may have the show be on KCAA as well. But we'll see about that.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask you, have you noticed, if you've been watching any television, that now like these commercials are all like using the word plants? Oh yeah, this has plants. I feel like that's like a key word to vegans out there. It's supposed to be like a word that like gets their attention.
I have noticed that actually. Yeah, you're hearing plants. Sorry about the phone. Plants, organic. You're hearing a lot of these buzzwords more and more. The other thing I've noticed is that the V word, vegan, people are shying away from that word now. You're not here. You're hearing plant-based foods now.
Yes, to me that's like they're trying to talk to the vegans out there, but they don't want to say vegan in the commercials. So they say, "Oh, we have plants, everybody. Our hamburger has plants."
Yeah.
Our GMO hydrolyzed glyphosate-laden margarine has plants.
It's not a plant-based hamburger. It's the what do they call it? The Beyond Burgers.
Yes, it's Beyond Meat. Yeah.
Yeah, Beyond Meat. Yeah.
And I've investigated them, and they're GMO. Because that's the cheap way to do it, right?
Of course.
I don't know. Maybe they're non-GMO certified, but I really don't care. Because just because it says non-GMO certified doesn't mean it doesn't have pesticides. And that is the thing that is the major cause of birth defects, everybody. So we'll be talking about that next week, too, when we have Dr. Seneff on. And did you notice this is a little heart cake that I brought, Nick? See that?
I do.
It's a little mini cake, and this was actually in my old 50-year-old Betty Crocker cookbook. I actually made a white cake, and then I took a heart cookie cutout, and I cut out the pieces of cake with a cookie cutout.
Oh, very smart.
So yeah, for Valentine's Day, I made so I cut that out, and then I was trying out this one kind of frosting. It does have corn syrup in it that you're supposed to you put it on a rack, and then it's kind of liquidy, and you pour the frosting over the top of it, and it kind of drips down through the rack, and you have a pan underneath, of course. And I noticed there was another recipe where they didn't use corn syrup, and they call it royal icing. I may try that one next time, because this one seems pretty sticky.
Yeah, that was probably due to the corn syrup, probably. So you'd probably have a better chance with the royal syrup, or the royal icing.
Now, and everyone, we're talking about corn syrup here, which is not the same as high fructose corn syrup. And they say high fructose, because it has a lot of fructose in it. But guess what? That makes you fat. Okay, because it has a lot of fructose in it. Okay, that's why I'm telling you, the deck is stacked against you. That's why we have major obesity in this country. Now, Nick's going to go to my YouTube and find. He's going to find it's another Because we didn't play the Johnson & Johnson one yet, did we? Oh, okay. He's on the phone, sorry. Anyway, I've been going through, these commercials. Like when I hear plants, it's like, come on, people. I just feel like they're not being totally honest. I have actually seen some good commercials. I thought they were doing a pretty good job because, they were entertaining. They weren't trying to represent themselves as something that they're not. I don't like it when consumers are tricked into buying products that are bad for them. I'm sorry. If you want to just like, oh, hey, here's our product. Yeah, here's our cute commercial. Okay, that's one thing. But when you start making promises that you're something that you're not, that's kind of when I draw the line. We didn't do the Johnson & Johnson one yet, did we? Because Johnson & Johnson, I don't, even if we did, we should play it again. It's not that long. It's only like a minute. But it's a really good example of, it says Johnson & Johnson baby. It's a really good example of the kind of things that these companies promise you. They're just listen to this commercial and how, they just came off a $4.9 billion lawsuit for lying to consumers over decades about asbestos. Asbestos in their talcum powder, giving people ovarian cancer. And they just come off of that, and here's their commercial about, how our product is better. So listen to it and see if you can pick up the kind of things that I picked up when I listened to it. Think before you buy. Johnson & Johnson baby products. Johnson & Johnson just had a major lawsuit that came after them for ovarian cancer claims, asbestos in their powder products, and it ended up with a $4.7 billion lawsuit settlement. What are they doing now?
Gentle means everything, so we improved everything. We used 50% fewer ingredients.
Let's look at those ingredients. Let's start with this bedtime bath product for babies. When we look at the ingredient label, we can see it's full of nothing but synthetic chemicals, including GMOs. Here's another product that's supposed to have a soothing vapor. Well, what is that vapor from? We did find one little reference to a methyl product there. Cotton. This actually has cotton in the product, which is a huge red flag. Not only do cotton products have the most pesticides, but the worst, the most hazardous pesticides of all. We took Babu Botanicals and we looked at their ingredients. None of those ingredients are in the Johnson's product. These are all true natural organic ingredients. What else?
Added one-handed pumps.
We don't even know what that is. And after all this, you guys are just offering a one-handed pump? What else?
And beat the top safety standard.
We have a question. What safety standards and who issued them?
The new Johnsons. Choose gentle.
How gentle is it? Well, here we go, looking at their powder that the big lawsuit was all about. Z-maize cornstarch. We looked it up. It's just cornstarch. It's GMO. We know that. What else? What other kind of great ingredients do we have here? Okay, fragrance. Fragrance, fragrance. Okay, in all of these products, and that one has talc. Does it have asbestos? Okay, the fragrance. The base of their fragrance are all those ingredients. Then they add other chemicals if they want different flavors. If you want the powdery musk, it takes all of those chemicals. We looked at Baby Organics and looked at some of their ingredients. We see that pretty much every single one is plant-based. And when it comes to fragrance, those are all plant-based, not chemicals. They're also organic, which we recommend that you buy. Know the facts before you buy. Check us out at smarthealthtalk.com, subscribe to us on YouTube, and please go visit our Blue Monarch project and find out what we're doing with the monarch butterflies. Okay. Did you guys pick up on the kind of things that I was picking up on there? You know, they're making all these promises. They claim that they have safety tests about their product. What safety tests? I went on their website. I couldn't find where there was any over third party that was like overseeing how safe their products were. You know, the powder, when I talk about fragrance and I talk about all the ingredients, I mean, we got like a long list of chemicals there that go into this fragrance. And guess what, everybody? Oh man, I need to have like a special sound that every time I mention something that makes you fat, that we like play the sound, because everybody da 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 da. Guess what? Fragrance is making you fat. That's right. And I have a really great section on our website about that. For the phytates, if you go to smarthealthtalk.com and look for Leah Zerbre from the Rodale Research Center. She was working at the time, and she had went to a big convention on these fragrances, which are actually a long list of chemicals all mixed together that we really don't know all that's happening there. They don't test for it. They're not out like making sure that this is not going to cause this disease, this allergy, this allergy. You know, they're not looking for that. They're just looking to make something that'll smell good so people will want to buy it, or they're going to put a celebrity name on it and then they're going to want to buy it. And meanwhile, you know, this stuff is making you fat, because guess what? Fragrance didn't used to be made from that. It used to be made from oils. The first Avon product was rose oil. That's right. That's the first product that they ever made. And that doesn't hurt you. But if you notice, Glade and these other products are saying they have oil, but they use benzene, a cancer-causing chemical, to extract the oils from the plants. So they're like, oh, look at us, we're all being good. And I tell you, those commercials where these people are like patting themselves on the back, oh, guess what? We're not using bovine growth hormone anymore. Oh, big wow, everybody. Oh, let's see. Let's remember back. Let's see, it was about 7 years ago when some TV reporters try to educate people that there's bovine growth hormone in your milk, and they were fired from their jobs for doing that, for saying that there's bovine growth hormone in milk, for letting people know that. And they tried to put it on labels, and boy, did the dairy industry fight that. You know, they even tried to put aspartame sweetener in your children's milk and not have to put it on the label. That's the person that's now the head of the International Dairy Association is the person that made all that happen for Monsanto with their GMOs. That's the person that's in charge of the International Dairy Association right now. And went through and was like looking at all the what's going on with orange juice. You know, now a big thing came out about what they're finding in orange juice, cancer-causing chemicals in the prescription drugs, blood pressure medication, even like finding it in, there was another drug too that they came out that they found it in. You know, orange juice, they put chemicals in there to make it taste. It's like a chemical that's in orange juice, but then they took and made a synthetic chemical of this orange taste, and they add more of that chemical into the orange juice. And they actually have flavor packets that they create, that they add to the orange juice because they want to have it always taste the same. Well, someone very close to me has a father that used to be the CEO of Tropicana, and he has stories about like when the oranges were like the perfect ripeness, and they made juice, and people were lined up to buy that juice because they knew it was the perfect time of the season to get orange juice. That doesn't happen anymore. That never happens because they do flavor packets. They keep the juice the same. And what I loved is I love the Canadian broadcast system. They have, it's like their public broadcast system over there. And they have, it's called Marketplace. And I highly recommend that you subscribe to them on YouTube. That is after you subscribe to Smart Health Talk, okay? Because you want you to subscribe to that one first, because we're trying to get our subscriber numbers up, and you really be helping us to do that, and it definitely will motivate us to get more of the videos done. But we have been I've got some new ones that I've been working on that I'm going to be putting up about Nestle water. Another one about mining. I mean, we have been talking, we're like usually 2 years ahead of everybody else. And we had over 2 years ago, we had Margot Robbins from the Yurok tribe. And you know how I remember how to spell that, Nick? Yurok tribe. I mean, it's really hard to spell that name. They're a California tribe. I'm pretty sure they're from California.
I can imagine that can be hard to say or hard to spell.
Yeah, it's like Y U R O K. Isn't that cool?
It works.
I know. It's Y-U-R-O-K. And
very nice.
I know. All I have to do is remember that, and I can spell that name every time. But if I didn't remember that, I would be like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, how do you do that okay at the end? That's a tricky part.
Yeah.
But they had cultural fire, they were actually doing that like for hundreds of years. And around the year 1900, the government freaked out because there was a lightning fire that burned like hundreds of acres, a lot of acres. And so they like somehow associated that with what the Indians were doing, which was not the same at all. One was an act of God, one was a controlled burn. And this is like fire just to prevent fire. But it's healthy. It kills bugs. We had all this beetle problem. Shoot, if we would have been doing cultural fire, controlled burns, maybe we wouldn't have had a beetle problem. But one of the biggest threats to our state forests are private forest, because Sierra Nevada Lumber Company are the biggest forest owners in the state of California. And we don't control what they're doing. We don't tell them this is how you have to maintain the fire, maintain your forest to prevent fire. And so that's why we need people to start getting, especially if you live here in California. I mean, we have to protect, but this is like a multiple state problem. But if we want to protect our forests here, we got to start getting on the bandwagon, because the Indians were doing this until the government stopped them. And now what has happened, because we stopped letting them do what they were doing for hundreds of years, which was probably preventing a lot of fires all during that time. And so we stop them. So what happens? All the floor of the forest starts building up. And now what we get are super hot fires that destroy permanently. Whereas these other fires did not burn as hot because there wasn't as much of the buildup on the forest floor. Cultural fire, everybody. Cultural fire. I have a blog post. It's under our news tab on our website. And if you go to our resources page, we got so much stuff there. It is so important that you're careful about your fish that you eat, where you get it from. We recommend Alaska. But fish fraud. Fish fraud is a huge, rampant problem. Oceana did a study, and a lot of the fish, especially at restaurants, and especially during times of year when it's off season, what they're saying their fish that they're serving is not what they're serving. And you got to get good at even being able to pick if you care. Maybe you don't care your red snapper's not really red snapper. That's up to you. But the thing is, I don't like being lied to, like I said earlier. And I don't like consumers being lied to, and I'm letting you know. That's what's happening out there. Now, there are certain kinds of fish, they multiply really quick. But we have overfished. There's no more cod left. There's all kinds of places around the world now where we're having to put how do you say that word, Nick? Moratorium? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Moratorium?
Moratorium, yeah.
Yeah, so no fishing. No, what does that do to the fishermen? And we got people illegally fishing, dragging the bottom of the ocean floor, just grabbing up anything. That is so destructive. It's so absolutely destructive. And, we have to be responsible with the food that we're eating. We think that I can't afford organic, the marketplace, they did a test with a bunch of people. They actually brought in a group of people. They must have had, at least 12 or 15, and 6 different kinds of eggs, and no one knew what they were eating. They had a chef there. He cooked them up and served them to everyone. And then they voted on a blind taste test on which ones they liked and they didn't like. Well, of course, taste can be influenced by what the chicken eats as well. But do we just buy eggs for taste? Do we actually buy eggs for nutrition? Remember what we were talking about at the beginning of the show, that we got to love our body, take care of our body? Well, you got to go find that nutrition, because that's what your body needs. It doesn't just need food, because there is a lot of empty food out there. Most food is to me, lifeless. It's a negative more than a positive. It may get rid of the hunger pains for a little bit, but it's not nourishing your body, preventing disease, repairing, actually making you younger inside, which we talked about last week. So that should be your goal, nutrition. And then it would be great if it was tasting good too, of course, but you may just buy on taste and don't even care about nutrition. I personally do care. I'm a dietitian. So I thought they did a really great job with this taste test. I thought the answers were very honest, because they had people there that just bought organic. They had other people there that one guy had been an egg farmer. He didn't care. Another person didn't care how the chickens were raised. So it was a very honest group. But the bottom line, everyone liked the organic eggs. They didn't think they were bad at all. They liked them. Some people preferred them over all the other eggs. Most of them, I think, preferred the organic. But there was different kinds of organic. Some organic, the chickens actually stayed inside most of the time, and some were let out. They roamed the dirt. They pecked at the dirt. And this has been a big issue within the organic industry, because, again, here comes big corporate farming wanting to cash in on the organic demand. So they're over there applying factory farm methods. They want to keep doing that. So they got Trump to change the regulations for organic farm animals. They've lowered the standard so they don't have to go outside. So think about that. So now we've had that taken away, so the chickens don't have to go outside anymore. So we have to understand, we're not letting the chicken be like a chicken. We've got them in these cages with 5-6 chickens to one cage. That's where they live their whole life, in one little cage with 6 other chickens, or 5 other chickens. So versus free chickens, go outside, roam, peck at the dirt. Okay, now bottom line is, guess who won the nutrition contest? That's right. The one with the farmer where the chickens went outside. Now, they went and told him the news about his eggs being not just superior, far superior than the other eggs. And this was his reaction. Go ahead, Nick. Let's play this guy getting the news about his eggs.
Over here at Smart Health Talk, we were wondering, are organic eggs really more nutritious? Especially those eggs from the chickens that get to wander outside and peck at the dirt, be real chickens. Well, over at Marketplace, the Canadian broadcast system, they did a great report where they actually tested 6 different brands of eggs, and they included conventional and organic. And they had a couple of different kinds of organic eggs, including those that were mostly raised indoors, and then another farmer that allowed his chickens to go outdoors and peck at the dirt. Well, it turned out that farmer that allowed those chickens outside, his eggs were far above the rest when it came to nutritional content. And when they told that farmer just how great his eggs were, well, it kind of got to us a little bit, and we wanted to share that with you.
Eatings. She's right. A hen's diet can affect taste. How about nutrition? We sent our samples for lab testing, and there's a difference, a big one. So who's at the top of the pecking order? Organic Meadow. And when it comes to hens on pasture, other studies show similar results. Are you ready to hear the results?
Sure. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, nutritionally speaking, Organic Meadow did the best.
Really? That's good. I don't want to seem surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised. We must be doing something right.
The areas it did well in, vitamin E, it had 3 to 5 times more than other eggs. There were twice as much omega-3s, vitamin A as well, and vitamin D was much higher.
Yeah, no, that's nice to hear. So anyway, I'm passionate a little bit.
Marty says it's a testament to his approach.
It's good that people appreciate that.
I mean, oh gosh, he's like, he almost started crying there, you guys. I mean, these are the people that feed us, that give us life every single day. Real food, not that processed stuff that makes up like probably 2/3 of the grocery store. That's nothing but another form of corn and soy and wheat. No, this is like, the real stuff, made the way it's supposed to be made. And so, yes, egg, first of all, is the best bargain in the entire grocery store. It is perfect. It's supposed to be perfect. It all depends, obviously, on how it's raised. But it is already the best bargain. I pay, $5? And, that's not even 50 cents an egg, okay, for organic eggs at the farmer's market. 50 cents an egg, you have like a 2-egg omelet, a 3-egg omelet, $1.50. That's too much for all that nutrition, 3 to 5 times the vitamin E. You know what vitamin E does? It prevents cancer, everybody. Yeah, those omega-3s, those are critical for your brain and your heart. That's like some quality stuff there in that little egg that you pay like 45 cents getting it at the farmer's market from chickens that walked around in the dirt. And I highly recommend to go to the one, those of you in Redlands, Loma Linda area, go to that Montessori one right there at Heritage Park on Orange between California and Alabama on Saturday mornings from 8 to 12. I tell you, I get my meat there. I've got my milk coming to my house directly. I get my great produce there. Make a good salad. Bake some butternut squash. Get some like apples. Get oranges, avocados, grapefruits. so many different things. Tomatoes, like a real tomato, even the organic. I am really glad to announce, because we have talked about the hydroponic lie, and I just want to warn everybody. If you're getting these hydroponic organic products, don't put them in your compost pile. The seeds that they use for these hydroponic organic products are a different kind of variety. And when it comes up as a volunteer in your garden because you composted it, you end up with one of those really thick-skinned tomatoes, which that's not what I want. I want the thin-skinned heirloom tomato. That's the one I want, not the one designed and, to be like transported and stored and gassed and all those kind of things that they do to the ones in the store. Not only are they gassing them with ethylene gas that comes from petroleum, so that's going into your food, but they're also gassing them with Smart Fresh Smart Tabs. And I got it right from the produce director at Stater Brothers that they do it. They say, for the customer, so you don't get those little spots on your bananas, and supposedly keeps your apples crispy. But the problem is it's a pesticide, and it takes up the ethylene receptor so that it doesn't get ripe. And I don't want a pesticide taking up the ethylene receptor so I don't get little spots on my bananas. If I get little spots on organic bananas, you know what? Even if it gets solid black on the outside, I peel it on the inside, it's still a solid, good banana. It's not black in the least, because organic bananas don't do that. That's why you save money when you buy organic. You don't get a black, mushy banana inside because it's missing stuff. It's missing nutrients. It's weak. It's just it's like half a banana, really, when you and the thing is, and this is another thing. Oh, I need that sound, Nick. I can tell you guys so many things that are making you fat, okay? This one is going to blow your mind, okay? I bet you never even thought of it, but it's something else that makes you fat, okay? Boop. Makes you fat. All right, well, get this. I'm going to tell you why nutrition is so important. Picture this. Okay? We got soil. Okay, inside that soil, the ultimate soil, the organic soil, in one little tiny square inch, we got billions and billions and billions of organisms. Okay? Life. Okay? And in there is even bacteria that makes B12 for all you vegans out there. And we're not afraid to use the word vegan around here. Okay? B12 is in soil. As a matter, I'm going to be putting a picture on my Instagram of some lettuce with some organic soil on it that I didn't even rinse it all off. I ate it. Yeah, I ate that soil. Why? Because there's B12 in there. Yeah, and I know it's hard for you to get that. Okay, so we got soil, and just picture, first of all, the ultimate soil, the organic soil that's packed full of nutrients. Then picture the soil that's coming out, where most of your food's coming out of, which is like dead soil. No earthworms, okay? Only some synthetic chemicals made from fracking. They make fertilizer out of it. And that goes into there with just the minimum of nutrients, the basics for things to grow. But is that really enough? Not in my book. I want it all. Just like that commercial that I can never get out of my head. I want it all. I want it now. That's me. I want it all, man. I want every single nutrient that could be fit into that food. I want it from my body because I love my body. I want the best for my body. It's hungry. It needs nutrition. That's what keeps me alive and keeps me from getting disease. So, when something grows in that dead soil, there is supposed to be, there's like, you picture the DNA, and it is giving instructions. And the ultimate soil will build the ultimate fruit or vegetable, because it's going to follow the DNA explicitly. And plus, GMO DNA, I don't even know what the heck that is, but it'll follow the DNA and it'll start to construct that fruit or vegetable. And it's going to have a little slot where, oh, this nutrient can go in there. Oh, here, we're going to put this starch in there. Guess what happens? Like, let's say an ear of corn. You got the dead soil. It's missing a bunch of nutrients. The plant's trying to build an ear of corn. The slot where the nutrient's supposed to go that's not in the soil, what's it going to put in that slot instead? It's going to put starch, because that's all it has. So then you end up with a piece of corn that's missing nutrients, and instead of those slots being filled with the different nutrients, it's being filled with starch. Guess what? Starch will make you fat. That's right. Eat a lot of starch, don't get much nutrition. That's how it all adds up. And I tell you, I'm going to tell you another little secret that hardly anybody knows. It is going to blow your mind. And it was just like depicted perfectly when I was watching this documentary on how our fast food chains have infiltrated even Saudi Arabia. All these other countries now. Kentucky Fried Chicken here, Domino's over here on every friggin' corner. Guess what? They used to never get fat in Saudi Arabia, but now they're getting fat. Yeah. Why? Because they're eating our food. They had one person, 3 times Domino's pizza delivered to that house in one day. 3 times. And they weren't like allowed to go to any movie theaters, or they have no bars. So all people do is hang out in the fast food places. That becomes the social scene. What does everyone say? What does everyone say about that pizza? It's the taste. It's the flavor. I crave it. I crave that flavor of the pizza. Why? Why are they like craving Domino's pizza? It's pizza. It's a piece of bread. It's some pizza sauce that, okay, yeah, they could jazz it up with some spices maybe. Are you going to crave that? I don't think so. Some slices of pepperoni? Oh. What's that other ingredient though? The cheese. What's really in the cheese? Well, let me tell you what's really in the cheese, because if you go look at the ingredient list on their websites for all those pizza places, you will find that when they talk about the cheese and the ingredients in the cheese, that there's 2 little words in that ingredient list called artificial flavor. And they're putting it in the cheese. Yeah. And guess what? That artificial flavor has excitogens in it, which means they target the addictive part of your brain. Yeah. So now is it starting to become clear to you why people are craving Domino's pizza, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Caesar's pizza, Papa John's pizza, because guess what? They all have this artificial ingredients in there. And the excitogens, which come from a special company and I'm pretty sure they're in San Diego. And that's what they make. Addictive, artificial flavor chemicals. And I never eat that stuff. And I'll tell you, there was one time we went fishing, and I was with someone, they bought some Pringles, and it had been a long time since I had put one of those chips on my tongue. But as soon as I put it on my tongue, I could literally feel the chemicals going into my body. I'm telling you, you don't even know how you're being played. You're being played in so many different ways. You're being played with these misleading commercials. You're being played with food that makes you think it's something that it's not. And it's pretty much dead food that's going to add to your death. But I don't want that to happen. That's why Smart Health Talk is here. And I hope that you've stayed with us the entire show today. I hope that you learned something, and maybe I might get you to think twice. Of course, what I want more than anything is for you to start heading down to that farmer's market. So just go to eatlocalgrown.com, type in your zip code, and you'll find farmers and farmers markets all in your area. Many of them deliver. Okay, please go check out our Blue Monarch project. Told you about the pesticide list on there. See what we're doing with the monarchs. We need you to buy milkweed. We need you to, but please buy it from us. We'll start to have it for sale here pretty soon. And help us with the monarch population, get educated, and go check out our Smart Health Talk website. And please go find us on YouTube under Elaine McFadden or Smart Health Talk and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got so many good videos there. You want to check them out. And of course, join us next Tuesday with Dr. Stephanie Sudniff right here on Smart Health Talk, KCAA, 4 to 5 p.m. every Tuesday. I'm Elaine McFadden, and I want to thank you so much for listening. Find our podcast on iHeartRadio or the KCAAradio.com website. And please, if you got a choice, buy organic, everyone. All right. Elaine McFadden, bye.
Before me, my newfound hippie side. Once ignored these conspiracies online.